Hello and welcome to Winterwolf Productions' Virtual Voyages. My name is Zandria Winterwolf and I will be your host for this program. Today I will be introducing you to a marvelous man named Handy Lowe. I met Handy when searching in InWorldz, a virtual world similar to Second Life, for quality scripts that were easy to use. I spent hours trying to find exactly what I needed. Then I ran across Handy's store. OMG was I relieved. I finally found a scripter and a product that understood the needs of a builder. Not only are his systems easy to use and low lag, they create beautiful effects and come with lots of options. Because I believe in the quality of Handy's work, and not to mention he has a charming personality, I decided to share this amazing discovery of the valuable man with you. Please welcome Handy Lowe.
Hi Zandria, and thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. Please tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I'm a programmer by trade. I'm British, as you can probably tell by my accent, and I've been programming for more years than I care to remember, and also playing computer games. And with virtual worlds, these two have really sort of come together.
Thank you, Handy. When did you become involved in virtual worlds, and which grids do you belong to?
Well, the first virtual world I became involved in, like many people, was Second Life, and that was in 2007, when there was a lot of buzz. Second Life always seemed to be in the press, in a sort of a notorious sense, unfortunately, as much as anything. And not long after that, in about 2008, I became involved in OpenSim and other virtual worlds through that, and in particular OS Grid at that time, and then later InWorldz, and more recently Kitely.
Can you please tell us a little about your experiences in these different grids?
Yeah, when I first started with Second Life, that was all I knew. But with the involvements with OpenSim and OS Grid and hosting my own regions and the kind of things that you can do there, and eventually my own grid, I found that there's a much broader canvas to be able to play with. You know, that's suddenly you have far more land that you can use. You can create more objects because of that, prims as they're called, and that it's encouraged a different mindset. And I found that that's continued now, that in certain grids you have far more scope particularly than Second Life, which can be quite expensive in terms of how much you can create, how much you can build, and so on. And the people are different too, and in some remarkable ways.
What do you see as some of the differences between the people?
Well, I see, for example, in InWorldz, maybe perhaps it's just the circles I move in, but people here are very, I would describe them as fun-loving. There seems to be a lot of partying going, whereas, for example, in Kitely, people there are very professional and very technologically minded in comparison. And in Second Life, there's this enormous educational side to it, which I haven't seen in InWorldz. But it's difficult to say because, of course, we all have our own circles that we move in.
As I mentioned at the beginning of this show, I met you because of a product you sold. Please tell me a little bit more about your in-world business activities.
Sure. I've really been concentrating on a sort of a niche market, really, as a programmer, as a scripter, writing scripts. As you said in your very kind introduction, I've been creating scripts to enable people who are themselves creating objects. They can use my scripts to get certain effects. For example, fires or smoke or fountain effects. And the idea is, from my point of view, is to try to make it as simple as possible for people to use. because I think there's a danger when people are creating things, they want scripts, that suddenly that's a technological leap to be able to program. And currently they seem to be either having to learn how to script, which is a big hurdle, or on the other hand, to rely on free scripts which are freely available but which are difficult to customize. And I thought that there was a way in which I could produce scripts which are very easy to customize using menus, using no technical knowledge, but which gave you a good range of effects that you'd use. For example, fires and fountains, candle flames, opening and closing doors and drawers and things like that.
Exactly, and that's how I found you, and I loved your work. So, do you offer the same products and services on each grid?
Yes, the products I offer in Second Life and InWorldz and Kitely, and through Kitely now to the hypergrid, that is, other grids that are signed up for that, they're identical.
Fantastic. And do you have any future goals or plans for your in-world businesses?
I do have a list of projects to look at, and to want to continue expanding the range of products that I provide. But for the moment, I'm quite happy working within this niche, as well as doing various custom work that keeps me very busy indeed.
Fantastic. Would you mind showing us a few samples of your products?
I'd be delighted to.
Great.
So let's start with looking at a fire. So for example, say a creator has a lovely fireplace, but there's no fire in it, and they don't feel like writing a script to try to create the flames. And I'll create just a basic cube which will stand in for our fireplace. And I'll just cut it in half so that the centre of the prim is actually at the top, just so we can see better. And then what I'm going to do is to drop in two scripts, one of which is the builder's setup script, and the other which is a control script. Okay, I drop it in like that.
Oh, I can hear it.
Yeah. So that gives us the sound, it gives us the flames, it actually casts light on us. As you can see, we're glowing a little in the warmth of the fire.
And it's smoking. Let me go over there closer to it and change the lighting effects and see here that I can see myself glowing in this.
Yeah. Yes, there's fire and smoke coming from the same place, which is a little bit of a trick. Yeah.
Wow.
And yes, and I can change the flames very easily by selecting any of a list of about 30 different flames from a menu. So I'll change that, and the flame texture changes, and we've got a completely different looking fire. And so you can do that just in one click.
Wow, this is incredible. You can use this for all kinds of stuff like campfires, fireplaces, and even tiki torches, right?
That's right. You could do, yes. I mean, as well as the texture, you can change the size, for example. So I could make, if this was too big for a tiki torch, I could make it smaller, again, just by clicking options on a menu.
Wow.
And I can even change the colour, for example. If I wanted to make it more red, I can add red to the colour.
Oh.
That's not very subtle, but that's just to show you that it's it is possible. And so within a few seconds, really, you can get a flame that looks the way that you want it, and that's all you have to do.
That's really amazing. Do you have any other products that are this cool that you can show us?
I do, yes. Let me show you a fountain.
Okay.
And I'll just take the red off that fire because it looks horrible. There we are. Oops, that's black. You can do anything. I just put the wrong option in there, so let's get it back to a flame colour, shall we? And let's put a fountain next to our tiki flame.
Okay.
And so, again, if I come out of the way, again, start with a basic cube, which a builder would presumably have a lovely looking fountain here, but just with no water. And this time I'm going to drop in the fountain scripts, the water scripts. And in this case there's one to control it, and then 4 scripts for the 4 elements of the water. One of which is the spray. So let's have some spray.
Wow, that's awesome. Ah.
Yeah. And again, I can change the texture there just by selecting it from a menu. So there are lots of different fountain effects.
So right now, I just want to explain something to the viewers. Whenever it first changes the texture, it looks gray on my screen, but I have to just wait for the textures to res, correct?
That's right, yes. It's a problem with virtual worlds generally, is that the texture has to travel all the way from the servers to your viewer, and while that's happening it'll show as grey. But that's, once it's there, and you should never see it grey again, because it'll be stored on your computer now. As with the fire, you can select which sound you want, and there are a selection of different water sounds.
Oh, I hear it.
Or if you prefer, there's this one.
Oh, yeah. Very soothing, this one.
And what I'm going to do is make the fountain more like the shape of some water. So and I'm going to put a water texture, flowing water texture on the bottom there.
Nice. So are you able to change the
And
color
again,
of the water as well? Or of the...
yes. Yes, let's change the colour of the fountain itself. So go into there and change colour, and let me add some blue. So a little bit more blue.
Yeah.
And I have to wait a little bit. That comes through.
I can see it.
Yeah, it starts to get bluer. Yeah.
And can you change how high it flows, or how low it flows, or how big it is?
Yeah. Yes, I can. So if I go to here, the height, let's make it not so high because it's nearly reaching the ceiling of the studio. So let's make it a little bit
Wow.
lower. But it's a little bit thin, isn't it? So we can spread it out and make it wider that way.
That's pretty.
And all of this is just clicking buttons on a menu, so it's very easy to do. And yeah, and then when you're finished with these, you can just click finish, and the product is ready. Then the script is in there, and you can sell that, or you can give it away, or you can use it yourself, however you like. It's all done for you.
Wow, hence your name Handy. That's handy.
And funny enough, the name came first.
Well, do you have any other products you'd like to show us?
Sure, I can show you a door if you'd like to see that.
Fantastic. Because that is one of like the major things that people look for on one of these grids. It's a good door system.
Right, so I'll move into over here. So what I'll do is I'll very quickly create a little chest. So I'll use 2 different two different prims here, and that will be our lid, and the other one will be the chest itself. And the lid can go on top of the chest for now. Now, so the person who's creating this chest will want that lid to be able to open and close when you click on it. So I'm going to put in a script that will let us do that. So the script is in, and I tell it, well, it needs to know what is the door. So I click a button that says Add Door. I click on the prim at the top that's the door. It flashed there.
Yeah, I saw it was orange.
Tell us that, yeah, that's right, to tell us that that's the one we have. And all I need to do now is to tell it, well, that is currently the position where it's closed. And now I go in to use the edit tools to position the door how I'd like it to be when it's open. So I move it and rotate it a little bit like that and say, well, that's the open position. And I click to set that open. And then I can close it and open it.
Wow.
And now,
can you close it and open it again for me?
yeah, close and open.
That was quick. So you can pretty much put the door in any position you want.
That's right, yes, it can slide, it can hinge, or like in this case, it actually does both. It moves and it rotates. So you can do either or both. So I close the door and let me create a sphere here. There's going to be our knob. And I'll position that on the door. As you can tell, I'm not a creator of beautiful furniture myself. I just create the programs, create the scripts. So I'll link that in so that the three prims now are all linked together. And I go to edit the door and I attach the knob by clicking it. And now when I open it, the knob goes with the door.
That's amazing. And it seems very simple to do.
Yes, it is. You don't need to know any mathematics or any numbers or anything like that. You're just clicking prims and clicking options on a menu.
And I've used these door scripts before, and one of my favorite things about it is you can have two doors opening simultaneously.
That's right.
Or
yes.
even more. Yeah.
Yes, you can have as many as you like, or they can all be independent of each other.
Yeah, here, I'm going to zoom out to a door system, a bridge that I made with your door system real quick. Do you mind? So I can show people?
Okay, not at all. And I'll just add a bit of sound into here while you're doing that.
Okay. This is a door system that I made with handy scripts, and when I click on the sign, as you can see, it goes up. See, the doors in the middle, or the bridge goes up, and then the railroad crossing or the boat crossing guards go down. And it's on a timer, so I have this set at, to stay open for over a minute so boats can flow through very easily, and I can set the time for whatever I want. And I'm going to go ahead and click it to close it to show you how it closes. So, pretty amazing. Okay, studio, I'm back with you, Handy, in the studio.
Okay. Yeah. And while you're doing that, I just selected on the menu one of the available sounds. So now if I open the door,
oh yeah,
close it.
Yeah, I heard it.
We've got sound.
And can you make the sound? You can make the sound louder and more quiet too.
That's right. Yes. And yeah, there are a range of different sounds. So you've got control of which they are and what the volume is. Or you can even use your own sounds. With all of these, you can add your own textures if you prefer them, or you can use your own sounds.
Wow! I didn't realize that part. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, just drop it into the inventory and it's there.
Okay.
Use it.
Great.
And something else as well. I mean, you mentioned your bridge, the fact that it closes automatically. Mm-hmm. That is because we have plugins, and some of my systems, not all of them, you can have little scripts which are very easy to write, or some of them are provided for you, and they, for closing after a time, you can have a script that just closes the door after a period that you like. And that's a very, very simple script, and so that enables people to get a little bit into configuring their own, to do exactly what they want to do, without having to create the whole thing from scratch.
Yes, I'm going to show them another door that I made with your system. It's right over here. It says quiet on set, and I made it so that it falls down, which is pretty amazing too. So these scripts are very versatile, extremely versatile. And as you can see, it went back up on its own because it's set on a timer.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Handy also offers swings, candles, and what other products do you have at your sim?
There's the candles, the smoke as well. The smoke already with the fire, but if you wanted smoke on its own, or if you wanted even more control over the appearance of the smoke, there's a special script just for smoke.
Oh, so you could use
There's
that
also one for electric.
For steam as well, right? Smoke, steam, fog.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and there's also one for electric lights, which is gives you a kind of if you like, there's a bit of an aura. Like you sometimes see lights they're surrounded by a bit of a glow. It'll do that, and there are sounds with it, and so on. And yeah, so that's pretty much the product range as it is at the moment. But there'll be more coming soon.
Thank you so much, Handy, for taking the time to join us today and show us all your fantastic products. We look forward to seeing more in the future.